Hello everybody, hello. As you can see, I'm wearing my Gryffindor hat, which I think my sister bought me this hat, and I've also got my Gryffindor scarf, represent, and I realise I use this all the time, and I forgot I've also got a Hogwarts pencil case. This is a pencil case, so kids use it at school, and it's full of my pens and pencils, rulers, crayons, all sorts of bits. So yeah, I think you might be able to guess that today is another talk about Harry Potter. Hello. To begin, I thought what I would do is, last time I did a Harry Potter talk, I read a few pages of the book, of the first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So I thought, hello, thanks for joining. I thought, just to begin with, I'm going to read a few more pages. So we only read 1 or 2 pages. So I thought, let's read a little bit of Harry Potter, and then I've got some Harry Potter games and things for us to do. So, let's start from page, if you want to read along with your own book. So the chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. Let's start on page 10. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit to start with. So, "Don't be sorry, my dear sir, for nothing could upset me today. Rejoice, for you know who has gone at last. Even muggles like yourself should be celebrating this happy, happy day." And the old man hugged Mr. Dursley around the middle and walked off. Mr. Dursley stood rooted to the spot. He had been hugged by a complete stranger. He also thought he'd been called a muggle, whatever that was. He was rattled. He hurried to his car and set off home, hoping he was imagining things, which he had never hoped before because he didn't approve of imagination. As he pulled into the driveway of number 4, the first thing he saw, and it didn't improve his mood, was the tabby cat he'd spotted that morning. It was now sitting on his garden wall. He was sure it was the same one. It had the same markings around its eyes. "Shoo!" said Mr. Dursley loudly. The cat didn't move. It just gave him a stern look. Was this normal cat behaviour? Mr. Dursley wondered. Trying to pull himself together, he let himself into the house. He was still determined not to mention anything to his wife. Mrs. Dursley had had a nice, normal day. She told him over dinner all about Mrs. Next Door's problems with her daughter and how Dudley had learnt a new word, shan't, which means shall not, shan't. Mr. Dursley tried to act normally. When Dudley had been put to bed, he went into the living room to catch the last report of the evening news. And finally, bird watchers everywhere had reported that the nation's owls have been behaving very unusually today. Although owls normally hunt at night and are hardly ever seen in daylight, there have been hundreds of sightings of these birds flying in every direction since sunrise. Experts are unable to explain why the owls have suddenly changed their sleeping pattern. The newsreader allowed himself a grin. Most mysterious. And now over to Jim McGuffin with the weather. "Going to be any more showers of owls tonight, Jim?" "Well, Ted," said the weatherman, "I don't know about that, but it's not only the owls that have been acting oddly. Viewers as far apart as Kent, Yorkshire and Dundee have been phoning in to tell me that instead of the rain I promised yesterday, they've had a downpour of shooting stars. Perhaps people have been celebrating bonfire night early. It's not until next week, folks, but I can promise a wet night tonight." Mr. Dursley sat frozen in his armchair. Shooting stars all over Britain? Owls flying by daylight? Mysterious people in cloaks all over the place, and a whisper about the Potters. Mrs. Dursley came into the living room carrying 2 cups of tea. It was no good. He'd have to say something to her. He cleared his throat nervously. Petunia, dear, you haven't heard from your sister lately, have you? As he had expected, Mrs. Dursley looked shocked and angry. After all, they normally pretended she didn't have a sister. No, she said sharply. Why? Funny stuff on the news, Mr. Dursley mumbled. Owls, shooting stars. And there are a lot of funny-looking people in town today. So? Snapped Mrs. Dursley. Well, I just thought maybe it was something to do with, you know, her lot. Mrs. Dursley sipped her tea through pursed lips. Mr. Dursley wondered whether he had dared tell her he'd heard the name Potter. He decided he didn't dare. Instead, he said, as casually as he could, "Their son. He'd be about Dudley's age now, wouldn't he?" "I suppose so," said Mrs. Dursley stiffly. "What's his name again? Howard, isn't it?" "Harry. Nasty common name, if you ask me." "Oh, yes," said Mr. Dursley, his heart sinking horribly. "Yes, I quite agree." He didn't say another word on the subject as they went upstairs to bed. While Mrs. Dursley was in the bathroom, Mr. Dursley crept to the window and peered down into the front garden. The cat was still there. It was staring down Privet Drive as though it was waiting for something. Was he imagining things? Could all this have anything to do with the Potters? If it did, if it got out that they were all related to a pair of... Well, he didn't think he could bear it. And I think we'll leave it there. So a fantastic introduction to the first Harry Potter book. There's a lot of tension at the beginning, and I think now we all know muggles means a non-wizarding person, a muggle, a common person. But when I first read this book when I was 11, I can remember thinking, what's a muggle? I have no idea. So there we go. So as you can see, kitted out in my Harry Potter gear, my Harry Potter hat and my Harry Potter scarf, Gryffindor of course. And today we're going to be talking, as you might have guessed, about Harry Potter. Let me spin my camera around so you can see. So, as I mentioned in my last talk, I went to, my boyfriend surprised me and took me to the Harry Potter studios in London, or, well, it's just outside of London. And this is a picture of me wearing the hat I'm wearing right now on a broomstick and a witch's cloak. And I'm looking very, very happy. I was delighted to be at Harry Potter Studios. I'm going to show you some pictures from that soon. Unfortunately, I couldn't find all of my original photos. Who knows where they are, probably at my parents' house or something. So this is me on a broomstick with special effects, wishing that I was flying through the air. Yeah, it's classic. And this is my boyfriend, Tom, or fiance I should say, also on a broomstick, looking very much like Harry Potter. Dark, messy hair, glasses, classic kind of Harry Potter look. So, let's talk a little bit about some of the characters. So, last time we were talking, we were discussing how to describe some of the characters. So I was hoping that those of you who are listening live might have a go at guessing some of the characters if I give you their descriptions. So let's do the first one. So see if any of you listening live can guess the character. And for those who are watching this later, see if you can guess before I reveal the answer. So this character has blue eyes. Straight away, I think, well, it can't be Harry Potter because he has green eyes. So what character has blue eyes? And in the book, he was described like this. He was a thin man, growing bald, but the little hair he had was as red as any of his children. Aha! Big clue here. Red hair or ginger hair. We describe people with orange hair. We say they've either got ginger hair or red hair. Or some people like to say strawberry blonde. Anyone guessed who it is yet? Blue eyes, thin man, growing bald, red hair. Who could that be? Dusty and travel-worn clothes. So, oh, and I've had quite a few people ask me how to pronounce this word. It's clothes, not closes, clothes. So I'm wearing my best clothes to go to the shops. You wouldn't wear your best clothes to go to the shops. You know what I mean. So dusty and travel worn. So dusty and travel worn, that means that they're well worn. So not brand new, sparkling, fancy pants clothes, but clothes that have been worn over the years. So that this implies, or we can infer, that maybe this person doesn't have a lot of money. Travel worn clothes, or that they travel a lot for their job. They work very hard. Oh, can anyone guess? You might have seen that. And actually I've just realised I've written in the wrong answer. It's not Ron Weasley, it's Arthur Weasley. So I've got a picture here. Arthur Weasley is obviously this is a picture of the actor who played him in the film. So I wanted us to discuss the differences between the character in the book and how they're described, and how the actor looks. So one thing that we could say is Harry Potter in the books is famous for having green eyes. I've got greeny bluey eyes, but it's very famous because it's often referred to, oh Harry, you've got your mother's eyes. So it's very important. It's a very important feature that people comment on. But the actor, Daniel Radcliffe, he had blue eyes, but he couldn't wear contact lenses, which is what you wear in your eyes instead of glasses. I'm wearing contact lenses right now. So that was one of the things with the film that I think annoyed some people, that he had blue eyes, not green. So the difference here, we could compare Arthur Weasley. The description in the book, he was a thin man. Well, he's not, I wouldn't say he's fat, but he's certainly a bit plump, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's not a thin man. I would say he is fairly stocky. But his hair is good, it is red, and he is growing bald, or you could say his hair is thinning. He has got thin hair. But all in all, I think they did very good. So let's do another guess the character. Okay, next one. This character has a large pink face, not much neck. So not much neck. We could infer from that maybe that they're maybe a bit chubby. I can't even remember who this character is, so see if you can guess for me. Oh, I think I might know now. Small, watery blue eyes. I love that description, watery blue eyes. Anyone want to guess before I reveal the answer? guessing the character. Large pink face, not much neck, small water blue eyes. And this is a great description, really makes you think about the character. Thick blonde hair that lays smoothly on his thick fat head. So thick has two meanings here. Thick, the width of something, so if something's thin, or if it's thick, it's wide. But we also can say if someone's thick, it means that they're stupid or dumb. So this is quite clever language here, sort of saying that he's thick because he's quite fat, and also thick as in quite stupid. Anyone want to have a guess who this might be? Pink face, not much neck, small watery blue eyes, thick blonde hair that lays smoothly on his thick fat head. It is Dudley Dursley. Oh, look at that face. I think, again, the actor who played him was quite well cast. I think it's, you know, we all have our own... When you read a book, you have your own imagination of how these people look. And when I was young and I saw this movie, I was so disappointed because the characters didn't look like how I thought they looked in my head. So, you know, but you have to take it with a pinch of salt, go with it, try and just use your imagination when you're watching the film, see it as an adaptation. So I thought this was quite good. Dudley Dursley. And again, there's a difference here. This character is described in the book as having blonde hair. In the movie, he had dark brown hair. So that's another difference between the character in the book and the character in the movie. Okay, let's do another one. Guess the character. Ooh, I like this. Pale, wild eyes. What do you think if someone has wild eyes? I imagine their eyes, wild eyes. I imagine like looking everywhere, maybe quite wide, like looking around. So what character, anyone watching wants to make a guess, has pale, wild eyes? Ooh, you might get it from this. A soft, greasy voice. Ugh, that has... Oh, it sounds awful, doesn't it? I would hate to be described as having a greasy voice. Sort of implies... Oh, I don't know, not a nice person. Slippery, greasy. Anyone want to take a guess who this might be? Aha. Owns a cat. This is the giveaway. Owns a cat called Mrs. Norris, described as a scrawny, dust-coloured creature with bulging lamp-like eyes. Scrawny. Oh, Lord Voldemort? That's a good guess. That is a very good guess. However, Lord Voldemort doesn't own a cat. At least not as far as we know. He is a snake. See if you can have another guess before I reveal. Thank you for guessing. Scrawny. If someone's scrawny, they're really thin, almost like malnourished, like not enough food. And bulging lamp-like eyes. I think it's a wonderful description. Imagine like, oh, I don't know, like this character, as you'll see. Okay, who do you think this is going to be? I think I've got... Oh! I've given it away. Argus Filch. This guy, the caretaker of Hogwarts School. And this, I thought this was brilliant casting. Pale, wild eyes, check. Soft, greasy voice, check. Owns a cat called Mrs. Norris. Yes, you're right, it is Argus. Argus Filch. And his cat, oh, I love cats, but even reading his book, I didn't like Mrs. Norris. I always thought she was terrifying and a real sneaky little minx. So yeah, I think that's quite a good description of Argus Filch. Let's do another one. Guess the character. Okay. This character, see who can guess it first, who's watching live. This character has a round face. So that implies that, again, maybe a little bit chubby. Extremely forgetful. What character is notorious or very well known for forgetting things all the time? Anyone want to make a guess straight away? This character, if you've heard me talk before, was always my favourite character in the books. In fact, my sister, because we were very young when these books came out, my sister used to write me notes and put them under my bedroom door, pretending that they were from this character. So, who could it be? Round face, extremely forgetful, had been brought up by his formidable witch of a grandmother. Formidable, that's a fantastic word. If someone's formidable, maybe they're quite scary or intimidating. Extremely forgetful, been brought up by his formidable witch of a grandmother. Does anyone know which character was brought up by their grandma or grandmother? Many guesses? Any guesses? Okay, 3, 2, 1. It's Neville Longbottom. Here he is, looking quite nervous, a little timid. Again, excellent casting, I think. He's got quite a large nose, doesn't he, in this picture? A round face, yes, quite a round face. Extremely forgetful, also quite dopey, like a bit like don't know what's going on. But Neville Longbottom, always a favourite character, and eventually a hero. What a guy. Okay, next one. Guess the character. Blank, staring eyes. A gaunt face. If someone is gaunt, they're very thin. I imagine you can see their cheekbones, but in an unhealthy way. Like a yellow, pale, gaunt, unhealthy face. Curly hair. Oh, I think I remember who this one is. This is a bit of a random one that I threw in just for a bit of fun, because it's quite a hard one. Robes stained with silver blood. Anyone make any guess? Which Harry Potter character is this one? The silver stained robes in Slytherin House. I'm not even sure about this character being in the films, but it's, if you've read the books, it's the Bloody Baron, which I think made. Can you see that? He's got blood literally on his clothes. Yeah, this one is a very difficult one. I kind of threw this one in here to be a bit mean. Not many people would think of the Bloody Baron. Okay. But I don't really like this character. That's not how I pictured the Bloody Baron. I pictured the Bloody Baron really terrifying, like almost no expression on his evil face. Okay, I think we've got a couple more of these. Oh, you might be able to get this straight away. Greasy black hair. If someone's hair is greasy, it means it's not clean, greasy or oily. A hooked nose. Hooked. So a hook is like that. like Captain Hook and Peter Pan, but someone's nose. We can describe it as a hooked nose. Any guesses? Sallow skin. Oh, sallow. Sallow means like pale, yellow, unhealthy, like really, like someone who's not seen the sun for 100 days, or someone who doesn't eat any vegetables at all. Severus, I think you could be right. Head of Slytherin. You're 100% correct, Professor Severus Snape. Oh, great. What's his name? I can't remember. He died, didn't he, a couple of years ago? He was brilliant as Severus. Also had a very deep voice, which I really liked. Hooked nose, check. Greasy black hair. Could be greasier, in my opinion. But very well done. It is indeed Severus Snape. Oh, and I think I've got one more. Oh, okay. This, again, maybe another quite difficult one. An excellent chaser. So a chaser is someone who plays Quidditch, which is the game they play on their broomsticks. So an excellent chaser, a tall black girl. I'll give you another clue that I don't think I've written. She is in Gryffindor house, so she plays with Harry Potter. And also, I'll give you another clue. One of the twins really fancied her, and I think they went to the Yule Ball together. Either Fred or George Weasley really liked this girl. She's described as a tall black girl and rather attractive too. Rather good looking. Any guesses? What do you think? Who could this be? An excellent chaser, a tall black girl, rather attractive too. It's Angelina Johnson, who in the books has got quite a lot going on. She's quite involved in the books, I think. Not so much in the movies. There she is, dressed in her Quidditch robes, and there she is in her school uniform. Bit of a random one, Angelina Johnson. Oh, I've got another one. Couldn't remember how many I'd done. Right, ready? Oh, a plump woman. If we describe someone as plump, and they could be described as curvy, maybe a little overweight. It's quite a kind way to describe someone who's carrying a bit of extra weight, I would say. It's quite a nice way to describe someone. Oh, she's a little plump. So a plump woman. Oh, spin the camera around by mistake. A plump woman. Short. So not very tall. Anyone got any guesses? Who could this be? A plump woman, short, kind-faced. So someone who is kind. There are certain people in this world, aren't there, who just have a kind look. For example, for me, I've got quite an angry look. I think my resting face when I'm just thinking is like this. I think I look quite miserable and angry. I'm not. It's just my resting face. It's just how I look. But a kind-faced woman, there are certain people out there that you can just tell. They're kind. They're a nice person. However, this person is kind, but it says in the book it was remarkable how much she looked like a saber-toothed tiger. A saber-toothed tiger. So, a kind face, however, she could look really annoyed, really angry. Maybe that might give it away. Very kind. She's kind to Harry Potter, definitely. but she's quite strict with her own children. Give you a few seconds if anyone wants to make a guess. Plump woman, short, kind-faced, but it was remarkable how much she looked like a saber-toothed tiger. Ready? It is Molly Weasley. Here she is. I love Molly Weasley. She is so kind and giving to everyone, but she also doesn't take any rubbish from her boys. You know, if Fred and George are being cheeky, she will tell them off and make sure that they do what she says. I have to say, I love this actress. I think she's a brilliant actress, but I didn't like her as Molly in the movie, only because I thought that Molly Weasley should be plumper. She should be a lot bigger, sort of softer, again, kind of faced. But that's just my opinion. She did a very good job, this actress, whose name escapes me. Yeah, Molly Weasley. Here we go. So, the next thing I wanted to talk about is if you come to London, just outside of London, you can get a bus from London to Harry Potter Studios. And there you can see the sets, the props, the costumes, the art department, the creature effects, and the special and visual effects. So, I've been here probably about 5 years ago, maybe, or quite a long time ago. And I've got their website up to show you. It is so cool. It is really cool. You can drink butterbeer, which if any of you have had a drink called Iron Brew, kind of tasted like creamy Iron Brew. It was very nice. And we actually, I think we got a purple bus from London. I think it was called the Night Bus. And you could travel, I think it's in Hertfordshire. Well, it's a little way out of London. And it's so cool because you get to see loads of things. So instead of me rambling on, let me show you. So I think if you remember me saying, the Great Hall was inspired by some of the colleges in Oxford. So you can actually walk into this room, you can look up close at the set. I think the thing that really struck me was the detail. You know, on all the statues, on the table, everything has just got such a huge amount of detail. I don't know if you can see there's the characters at the end as well, which is cool. You can get loads of pictures. The Forbidden Forest, again, pretty spooky. You can have a little walk through the Forbidden Forest. Platform 9 3/4, get a picture by the very, very famous Hogwarts Express. Unfortunately, you can't board it, it doesn't go anywhere, but very cool to see. And Diagon Alley. Now, my boyfriend realised this well before I did. I couldn't believe I never noticed this, but obviously J.K. Rowling is very clever with her words, and Diagon Alley is a play on the word diagonally, which means not in a straight line, diagonally, which is fantastic because that is how Diagon Alley feels like. I imagine it's, you know, very busy, you know, lots of different ways to go, easy to get lost in. And I think Diagon Alley was my favourite. I think this was the joke. Can anyone remember what's the joke shop that Fred and George? Or is that Zonko's? Is that the joke shop in Diagon Alley? I think so. There's Ollivander's, and yeah, all the things that you read about in the book. You can literally walk down here and see Diagon Alley. It's so cool, and again, amazing attention to detail. And another thing, if this is what you're interested in, you can see the props. So your favourite props from the film. I think there was, I can't remember how many, hundreds of wands. Hundreds and hundreds of wands. You can buy your own wand as well. And here, oh, isn't this fantastic? All the potions, all the things that you need to make potions and spells. I think every kid did this, but when I was young, I used to go into my bathroom and get the toothpaste and washing up liquid and my mum's perfume, anything that I could find, and make potions and pretend that I was a witch. I used to love doing that as a kid. That was so fun. So if that's the thing you're into, you can make up your own potions. All these, we'd call these vials. Vial. So V-I-A-L, vials, filled with all sorts of liquids and bits and bobs. The worst woman in the book, Professor Umbridge. You can go into her office and see the hundreds of pictures of cats. Again, as you know, I love cats. I've got 2 cats. But, her office was disgusting. Obviously, in the movie, all of these cats moved and meowed. Oh, puking pastilles. Do you remember that in the book where it makes a sweet that makes you sick? Oh, although obviously not in real life. And one of the coolest things that I didn't expect to really like is you can see all the animatronics. So Buckbeak was so beautiful. So it would you can see it, and you can see it move, and it's so lifelike. It really is. The picture doesn't do it justice. It's really, really amazing to see. You know how talented people are. All these goblin heads. Look at these. Again, so much detail. And you can see, you know, the drawings, how they came about. Again, hundreds of goblin heads. So much work went into these movies. Aragog, the giant spider. Let's skip past that one because I don't like spiders. Costumes. Quidditch. You can buy all this stuff as well in the gift shop. What they're like as adults. Do you remember those dress robes that Ron had to wear that were disgusting? You can see them. Oh, bless me. And the coolest thing, I think, is this. It's a real model of Hogwarts. Obviously you can't touch it or go near it, but you can walk around it. And it's just magnificent. I mean, how long? I don't know how long it would take to make this. And obviously they use this for filming, because obviously it's not a real place, although inspired, as you know, by Oxford. Just amazing. Amazing, amazing. And I don't know about you guys, but this was exactly how I pictured Hogwarts when I read the book. Lots of spires and towers and places to go get into mischief with. Yeah, and you can also see all the technical drawings, so the designs, the artwork. So yeah, I'd really recommend, if you you know, when all this is over, come to London, go to Harry Potter Studios. It is very cool, and there's just so much that you can see. It's really good. Now, to finish my talk for today, I might read, you can see my boxes on the floor that the cats have been playing with. I might read a little bit more, but also I have got a Harry Potter quiz to do, which you can help me with, so you can kind of test my knowledge. Okay, if anyone wants to join in, please do. And if you're watching this later, see if you can get the answer before me. Okay. My brother died in the Battle of Hogwarts, but I only lost an ear. That's an easy one. George Weasley. Come on. Yes. Okay, next question. I still can't believe Ron Weasley threw me over for that bookworm Granger. A bookworm is a derogatory term. It's not a very nice way to say someone who enjoys reading or someone who's maybe a bit nerdy, just like Hermione Granger is. Like a nose stuck in a book. So who's this? We've got Hannah Abbott, Lavender Brown, Millicent Bulstrode, or Helena Ravenclaw. I still can't believe Ron Weasley threw me over for that bookworm Granger. Who said that? Who did Ron Weasley have a crush on? Who did he fancy? Can anyone remember? It can't be Helena Ravenclaw because she was the founder of Ravenclaw. Millicent Bulstrode is a Slytherin, so I'm certain it's not her. Hannah Abbott, was she a Hufflepuff? I think it was Lavender Brown. What do you guys reckon? I think Lavender Brown. Yes, correct answer. Threw me over for that bookworm, meaning Ron Weasley chose Hermione Granger over Lavender Brown. Why wouldn't you? Hermione Granger's a babe. Okay. My love for Lily Potter led me to be Harry's secret defender. So, in my mind, the ultimate hero of the whole series, Severus Snape, kept a secret because he loved Lily Potter. What an absolute legend. What a hero. Okay. Let's see if anyone can help me with this one. Most of the time you read about me, I was really Barty Crouch Jr. Oh, so who is this person who's in disguise? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Was it Gellert Grindelwald, Newt Scamander, Mad Eye Moody, or Dolores Umbridge? I think I know this one. Does anyone want to make a guess before I... Looking at Mad Eye. Yes, you're absolutely right. Mad Eye Moody. Well done. Oh my goodness. What a great revelation that was in the book. Barty Crouch Jr. Oh, so sad. Well done. Okay. My Patronus is a stag. Whose Patronus is a stag? Draco Malfoy, Charlie Weasley, Parvati Patel, or Harry? Anyone want to make a guess? Whose Patronus is a stag? I think I know this one as well. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. Charlie or Parvati? Oh, was Harry's a stag? I can't remember. You think Charlie or Parvati? Okay, let's go for Charlie, shall we? Ah, it was Harry. Ah. Oh, there we go. A stag. It's like a moose kind of thing. Okay. Oh, right. Call me Snuffles and scratch me under my furry black chin. Okay. Don't worry. It's all fun. Okay, call me Snuffles and scratch me under my furry black chin. Sirius Black, Barty Crouch Jr., Luna Lovegood, or Rita Skeeter? Oh, do you guys remember who asked to be called Snuffles? In the book, who asked to be called Snuffles? I'll give you a clue. Snuffles is a great big dog. And the only character that was a great big dog was Sirius Black. Snuffles as a code name. Okay. A seeker in Quidditch. I was Harry's first crush. Ooh. So Harry fancied this person or found this person very attractive. Who did he have a crush on? See if you guys can guess. Cho Chang, Parvati Patel, Alicia Spinnet, Helena Ravenclaw. Cho, yeah, well done. Cho Chang. Oh, she was a lovely character. Didn't she end up with Hufflepuff boy, Cedric Diggory? I think she did before he died. Oh, God. Okay, next one, well done. I might be more scared of spiders than of Lord Voldemort. Lavender Brown, Minerva McGonagall, Bill Weasley, or Ron Weasley. Who is terrified of spiders? Can you remember? I'm also terrified of spiders, so I empathise with this character a lot. More scared of spiders. Although Lord Voldemort, let's face it, he's much scarier than a spider. You might remember when they were in the Forbidden Forest and Aragog was there. This one is Ron. Yeah, Ron Weasley, well done. Yes, absolutely terrified. And it says here, when the third year Gryffindors were learning to defeat boggarts, remember those things in cupboards, Ron, things that people are scared of, Ron's took the shape of a giant spider. Okay. Many students, especially Hufflepuffs, considered me Hogwarts' true champion in the Triwizard Tournament. Oh. Cedric Diggory, Angelina Johnson, Justin Fletchley. Oh, that's a bit like a tongue twister. Justin Finch Fletchley. Great name. Vincent Crabbe. Oh, Crabby. This one, I think we all know this one. Poor Cedric Diggory. Oh, goodness. Heartbreaking moment. Oh, okay. For those of you listening right at the beginning, I was describing this in the book. I sometimes appear as a cat with spectacle-like markings. Spectacle-like. So, spectacles is another word for glasses. Madame Hooch, Poppy Pomfrey, Minerva McGonagall, or Rowena Ravenclaw. Who appears as a cat? Anyone remember? Who can take a guess there? Which character can turn into a cat? I'll give you a clue. It's not Rowena Ravenclaw. It's not Madame Hooch. She teaches Quidditch. No, it's not Madame Hooch. It's actually Professor, good guess, it's Professor McGonagall. Do you remember at the beginning of the first book, she sits outside the Dursleys' house waiting to speak to Dumbledore. And she teaches transfiguration, so she can transform into a cat. Good guess. Thank you for joining in. Love it. Okay. I tried to befriend Harry Potter in Diagon Alley, but he'd rather hang out with the Mudbloods and Weasleys. Ooh, Tom Riddle, Victor Crumb, Draco Malfoy, or Mr. Ollivander. So Mr. Ollivander, he's the character that makes wands. Victor Crumb, that's who Hermione dates for a little bit. He's on the Bulgarian Quidditch team. Tom Riddle, aka, or also known as Lord Voldemort. So I think it's got to be Draco Malfoy. Do you remember he tried to be friends with him at first, and Harry Potter was like, I can tell you're not a nice guy. I don't want to be friends with you. Yeah, Draco. Fantastic. Okay. Oh, this is a great question. At certain times of the month, you could look for me under the Whomping Willow. Regulus Black, Remus Lupin, Draco Malfoy, or Minerva McGonagall. Which character could turn into a howling werewolf at night? Give you a minute to answer. Lupin, yes. Well done. Remus Lupin. Good work. Okay. Oh, every once in a while, I make a true prediction. So every once in a while, I make a true prediction. A prediction is like a guess about something that might happen in the future. So we've got Alastair Moody, Padma Patel, Rita Skeeter, or Sybil Trelawney. And this one, I'm going to go straight away, Sybil. And she taught divination. What was that subject? Divination? Something like that. I can't remember. So there's that one. Okay. In 7 years, I went from 0 to hero as a key member of Dumbledore's army. Oh, okay. Who do you think this one is? Colin Creevey. He was the kid that took lots of photos with his camera. Dennis Creevey. That was his brother. Neville Longbottom, as you know, my favourite character. Or Cho Chang. So in 7 years, I went from 0 to hero. So from 0 to hero is like going from being no one to being a superhero, to being a star. 0 to hero as a key member of Dumbledore's army. Who do you think this might be? This one, I'm going to guess Neville Longbottom. I could be wrong. Think it's Neville? Yeah, Neville Longbottom. Okay. Yeah, Neville. I guessed at the same time. Okay. That ill-bred Potter boy blew me up like a party balloon. Oh. Aunt Marge, Gilderoy Lockhart, Rita Skeeter, or Dolores Umbridge. Who did Harry Potter blow up like a balloon? I think it's in the 3rd book, The Prisoner of Azkaban. Someone is round the Dursleys' house to stay for a few days, and they make Harry so angry that he blows her up like a balloon. Or it might have been Dobby the house elf that did it. This one is Aunt Marge. Oh, she was a horrible character. A real meanie. Oh, good guess, Dolores or Rita. Aunt Marge was the answer there. Okay, I'm fascinated with muggles, but I don't know as much about them as I think. Albus Dumbledore, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, so a muggle, someone who's not a wizard, just normal people like myself. I'm fascinated with muggles, but don't know as much about them as I think. Albus Dumbledore, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, or Arthur Weasley. Who loves muggles? I'll give you a clue. They've got red hair. They were, at the beginning of this talk, guess the character game. I think I know this one. And yes, Arthur. Well done. Arthur Weasley, yes, he loved muggles. Fascinated by them. I think to finish, I'm just going to read a little bit more, if that's all right with you guys. So well done. Thank you for joining in with the quiz. And there's lots of quizzes and things online. Did you know it was Harry Potter Day? I think last week. Like a day where everyone celebrates Harry Potter, which is great. So here we go. Page 11 of the first book. Let's read a little bit more to finish up. So Mr. Dursley is seeing some strange stuff going on. He's about to go to bed. The Dursleys got into bed. Mrs. Dursley fell asleep quickly, but Mr. Dursley lay awake, turning it all over in his mind. His last comforting thought before he fell asleep was that even if the Potters were involved, there was no reason for them to come near him and Mrs. Dursley. The Potters knew very well what he and Petunia thought about them and their kind. He couldn't see how he and Petunia could get mixed up in anything that might be going on. He yawned and turned over. It couldn't affect them. How wrong he was. Mr. Dursley might have been drifting into an uneasy sleep, but the cat on the wall outside was showing no sign of sleepiness. It was sitting as still as a statue, its eyes fixed unblinkingly on the far corner of Privet Drive. It didn't so much as quiver when a car door slammed in the next street, nor when two owls swooped overhead. In fact, it was nearly midnight before the cat moved at all. A man appeared on the corner, and the cat had been watching. The cat had been watching so suddenly and silently you'd have thought he'd just popped out of the ground. The cat's tail twitched and its eyes narrowed. Nothing like this man had ever been seen in Privet Drive. He was tall, thin, and very old, judging by the silver of his hair and beard, which were both long enough to tuck into his belt. He was wearing long robes, a purple cloak which swept the ground, and high-heeled buckled boots. His blue eyes were light, bright, and sparkling behind half-moon spectacles, and his nose was very long and crooked, as though it had been broken at least twice. This man's name was Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore didn't seem to realise that he had arrived in a street where everything from his name to his boots was unwelcome. He was busy rummaging in his cloak, looking for something, but he did seem to realise he was being watched, because he looked up suddenly at the cat, which was still staring at him from the other side of the street. For some reason, the sight of the cat seemed to amuse him. He chuckled and muttered, "I should have known." He had found what he was looking for in his inside pocket. It seemed to be a silver cigarette lighter. He flicked it open, held it up in the air, and clicked it. The nearest street lamp went out with a little pop. He clicked it again. The next lamp flickered into darkness. 12 times he clicked the put-outer until the only lights left in the whole street were 2 tiny pinpricks in the distance, which were the eyes of the cat watching him. If anyone looked out their window now, even beady-eyed Mrs. Dursley, they wouldn't be able to see anything that was happening down on the pavement. Dumbledore slipped the put-outer back inside his cloak and set off down the street towards number 4, where he sat down on the wall next to the cat. He didn't look at it, but after a moment he spoke to it. "Fancy seeing you here, Professor McGonagall." I think we'll leave it there for this week. Such good books, so good. Thank you everyone so much for listening. And for those of you watching it later, I hope you enjoy it. I hope everyone's well and, looking after each other. And does anyone have any questions or anything before I finish for the day? Oh, I've only got 20 seconds remaining apparently, so I better say goodbye. Thank you so much again, and yeah, peace and love.